we are going to be talking about the properties of logarithms. Okay, so we've talked about what logarithms are, why we use them, and now we're going to introduce these properties. So if we look, you'll notice that the titles of these properties we've seen before, right? Product rule, quotient rule, power rule. Where have we seen that? Exponents, maybe? Yeah, exponents. Cool. Rationals, right? We've seen that before too. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at these. So the first one is product rule. Log base b of mn. We can break it apart. So it's the same thing as log base b of m plus log base b of n. Okay, don't get confused by all the random letters. Basically all that's saying is if you have a log of two things that are being multiplied, you can split them up with addition. Okay? Same thing with the quotient rule. If you have a log of two things that are being divided, you can split them up with subtraction. Okay? And last but not least, the power rule. This one's going to be a little more new. So if you have a logarithm of something being taken to an exponent, you move that exponent to the front. Okay? So now we're going to practice these things. We'll start with the product rule. Okay, so you'll notice with expansion here, I've got log base 6 of 5 times y. Okay, so I keep that same base. And since it's multiplication, I'm going to change it to addition. So log base 6 of 5 plus log base 6 of y. You can leave these parentheses in here, but I'm not going to count it wrong if you don't. Questions on that? Okay. Same thing here, but now we're going to do condensing. So we'll look. Log, our base is what? 3. What operation do we have? It's going to be multiplication, right? Because it's got addition between it. So now we're going to multiply. What is 10 times x? 10x. And again, I don't care if you put the parentheses here. It's fine if you do. But it's log base 3 of 10x, and that's it. Big thing to remember here, okay? In order for this to work, the bases must be the same, okay? If the bases are not the same, you cannot do that. So whenever you're condensing, like for instance, if this was log base 4 of 10 plus log base 3 of x, would that work? Could I do that? No, I could not. Okay, bases got to be the same, and in this case they were. So we were good. Cool. I want you to go ahead and try these examples right here. Expand and condense. Give you about a minute or so. Okay, on the first one, log base 2 of 3a, what'd you do? Good. Log base 2 of 3 plus log base 2 of a. Product rule. Split them apart if you're expanding. Okay, and then condensing. Same thing, still the product rule. What'd you put? Good. Log base 5 of 16y. Good deal. Okay, again, it's product rule, so take the product. Don't do 2y plus 8, okay, because we're multiplying. 2y times 8 is 16y. Questions on that? Feeling good? Okay, cool. Next up, quotient rule. Works very similar. Okay, expanding. Log base 7 of a over 2. Okay, doing the same thing as what we just did, except for now this is division and subtraction, right? So if I'm expanding it, keep my same base, log 7 of a minus log base 7 of 2, and that's it. Next one, same deal. I notice my bases are the same, so that's good. Log base 3 of x to the third plus log base 3 of y, and that should be a subtraction sign, so go ahead and change that. That's a typo, sorry. So if we see subtraction, we will divide these two. So x to the third divided by y. Okay, so I want you to do the same thing, but on these examples. Okay, first one, what'd you put?
Log B 4 minus log B C.
Good. Log B of 4 minus log B of C. I like it. Raise your hand if you got that one. Sweet. Okay, next one.
Log
So
5 30Z over 8.
Yep, log 5 of 3z over 8.
I keep reading
Will that simplify 3z over 8? Nope, it will not. Okay, but if it could, you would simplify it. All right, cool. Questions on that? Next one, power property. Okay, so this is what we do if we have an exponent in our logarithm. Okay, so here we got log base a of x to the 4th. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that power of 4 and I'm going to move it out front. So it's 4 log a of x. No longer have that exponent. Same thing with condensing, okay? But here I notice my power is already written at the front. Now I just got to move it to the back. Log base 5 of 2 to the 4th power. And here I would simplify if I could. So can I take 2 to the 4th power? Yep, and you can use a calculator for the rest of this unit and on your test. So go ahead and tell me, what is 2 to the 4th power? You could do it in your head too. 16. Okay. Log base 5 of 16, that's my answer. All right, I want you to go ahead and do the next two. Expand and condense. First one, what'd you write? 5 log base 7 of x. Good. And next one.
Log 4 x to the 6th.
Perfect. Log base 4 of x to the 6th. I like it. Questions on that? Okay, we started off easy. It's going to get a little more challenging, but that's okay. All right, we're just going to use our knowledge of how to do these. Okay, so the first one. We've got log... Is there a base on this one? It's 10, but I don't need to write it, okay? Just leave it off there. Unless there's one written, then you gotta make sure you keep it. So log of x to the 9th square root of z over w to the 6th y to the 4th. Okay, so the first thing that I notice here, okay, and we kind of gotta work in reverse order on expanding as what we would do on condensing, okay? And you'll notice that once we get going on these. So the first thing I notice is that it's one big fraction. Do we all see that? So what is a fraction? What operation is that? Division, okay? And I know I can break apart division by changing it to subtraction. So that's going to be the very first thing that I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this apart by taking log of x to the 9th square root of z. Think about square root of z though. Could I write that as a power? Z to the close. Z to the half power. Yep, 1 over 2. Okay, and if you need to write that over to the side, a square root equals the 1/2 power. Okay, what would a cubed root be? 1 over 3rd power. Good. That might come in handy today as well. Cool. Okay. So back to the problem. I got log x to the 9th, z to the 1/2, minus log w to the 5th, y to the 4th. Everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I've got two different pieces, right? I'm just going to start with the first piece. Okay, so log x to the 9th, z to the 1/2. What do we think we could do there? So just breaking that down. What operation do we have going? Multiplication here. And how do we break that apart? Addition. Cool. So you're saying it's the same thing as log x to the 9th plus log z to the 1/2? If I broke that piece down?
Yep.
Yeah? So I could even put that in parentheses too, just to show that it is that first piece. And now I'm subtracting the second piece. How would I break down the second piece?
Log W to the 5th plus log Y to the 4th.
You got it. Break down multiplication with addition. Cool. Okay, now I've got parentheses, so I need to always solve parentheses first if I've got them. So we'll look in the first set. Will that simplify any further? Yeah, so let's look at that first piece. Log x to the 9th, what will that do?
9 log to 9 log x.
You got it, 9 log x plus what?
1/2 log to the 2nd. Or 2.
Z.
Oh, z.
I don't know, I might have sloppy handwriting. Yep, it's just a z. Okay, you're good. So log z. Keep our subtraction. Now we're going to go to that second set. We'll break that one down. So that first piece, log w to the 5th,
5 log W
5 log w plus
4 log Y.
4 log y. Okay, we have expanded that. We are almost done. There's one thing though. Do we see that subtraction sign in front of a set of parentheses? What does that mean to do? Distribute it, okay? So this is going to be the same thing as 9 log x plus 1/2 log z minus 5 log w, and then also minus 4 log y, because I just distributed out that negative. And that, my friends, is our expanded answer. It's cute. I think it's cute too. A lot of work, right? But is it hard? No. Would it be easy to mess up something little though? Yeah, these are going to be really important that we go slow, we take it easy, okay, and we show all of our work. Cool. Second one. Okay, natural logs are going to work the exact same way as logs, okay, but just use ln instead of log. The rules are still the same. So I want you to go ahead and try this one. It's a little easier than the one we just did. Let's go ahead and start this one. So what do we notice? This one is, it's a natural log, yeah. What operation do we see? Division, right? It's a fraction, so we got to break that down first, okay? So when we do that, what's the first thing I should write? ln of natural log of 3 minus perfect. Yep. So that's the first thing we do is break down that division symbol. Okay? So we broke it apart with subtraction. Natural log of 3, is that going to break down any further? No, that piece is done. Okay? But we still have to make sure we include it in our answer, so don't like erase it or cross it off or do something funny. We had some funny business on our tests. A lot of us just crossed things off that we didn't like, so please don't do that, okay? Don't ever cross something off unless there's a reason to. But we're going to leave that natural log of 3 minus, can we break down that second piece any further?
Yes.
Yes, do you see how it is? Yeah, 3 things being multiplied together. I like it. How would we break that apart?
It'd be ln 2 plus ln x plus ln y to the 2nd, or y to the 2nd.
You got it. And should I put that whole thing in parentheses?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're subtracting the whole thing. Good. What, anything inside those parentheses break down any further?
The ln to the ln y to the 2nd.
Yeah, what will that become?
2 ln y.
2 ln y. Good. Everything else will stay the same. And last but not least, distribute. Yep. Natural log of 3. Then what?
Minus ln 2 minus 2 ln y.
Perfect. And that is our answer. Good deal. Questions on that? Feeling okay on this?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Number three. All right. So we noticed we have a division problem, right? Okay. Do we also notice something else on this one?
Yeah, there's a 5 that's not supposed to.
There's a 5 that's not supposed to be there, right? Okay. So we actually have to take care of that 5 before we can do the division. What would I do with that 5?
So it'd be 5 longer.
Yep, it goes in the front. So 5 log. So this is going to be the same thing as 5 log of x to the third over 2zy. I think that's a 7. We'll call it a 7. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Would you put the base after the 5 log? Or you?
Yes, you would. Thank you for catching me. Yep. Good deal. So this is one that has a base, so please make sure you write the base. Okay. So now, what's the next thing you see?
You have to subtract.
Yep, make it subtraction, okay? But here's the kicker. Make sure that 5 comes along with us. Okay, it's coming along to every single piece. So we'll look here. This is going to become 5 log base of 3 of x to the third minus 5 log base of 3 of 2zy to the 7th. Questions on that? Okay, cool. So now we look at each individual piece, okay? So this first piece, what can happen here?
The 3 needs to move to the front.
The 3 needs to move to the front, okay? What do you think I do with that 3?
Multiply.
You got it, multiply it. What is 3 times 5?
15.
So this is now 15 log base 3 of x. Good. Minus, then we've got our next piece. 5 log 3 of 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 5 log 3 of z.
What operation?
Plus.
Plus, good. We're adding because we're breaking up that multiplication product rule. Plus 5 log what?
Z.
Z, and then plus
5 log y. 3. Yeah, y is that. Yeah.
okay, cool. I like it. Will any of those pieces go any further?
Yes.
Which one?
Y to the 7.
The y to the 7th? What's going to happen there? It's going to move to the front and be 35. Good. So 15 log 3 of x minus 5 log... I could go ahead and distribute out that negative just to save me a step, couldn't I? Yeah. So minus 5 log base of 2 minus 5 log of z minus what? 35 log y. Am I done? Yep, I'm done. Cool. Questions on that? Okay. Number 4, I want you to try that one on your own, and those little hints that we wrote at the beginning up here might help you out, okay? Make sure you pay attention. How could I rewrite that problem? So don't say it out loud. Go ahead and try it. Work with somebody around you. Okay. What was the first thing that we did? Not multiply it, but so what do we have the 1/3 power, right? Don't we just write that out? So this is the same thing as log base 9 of what?
1/3.
No. C to the 7th, D to the 6th, to the 1/3 power. Anybody get that? Okay, cool. Some of us. So that whole thing is being cube rooted. So the whole thing is going to the 1/3 power. Okay? And since we've got a power on the outside like that, should I break down the multiplication first or should I move the power first? Move the power first. Where am I going to move it? To the front. So 1/3 log what? d to the 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we are right now. What's gonna come next?
1/3 log 9 and then C7 and then 1/3 log 9.
And then, what do you mean by and then?
I don't know, that little thingy, that's how I say it.
You say a plus sign as that little thingy?
Yeah.
And then? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really like that, but whatever. Log base 9 of d to the 6th. Anything else?
Yeah,
What?
you need to move that 7.
You need to move that 7? So what will that become out front?
2.3.
Yeah, you could give me a decimal. You could actually just leave it as 7/3. It'd probably be better. 7/3 log 9 of c plus what? 2? Why'd you get 2?
Because I did 6 divided by 1/3.
You got it. 6 times 1/3 is 2.
Log 9 d.
Log 9 of d. Am I done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. How do we feel about expanding?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? This stuff's not too bad? Okay, now we're condensing and we're done. Okay, that very last page is actually just going to be the warm-up for next class, so we're not going to worry about that today. Condensing the following though. So, I said these are kind of like inverses, expanding and condensing, so we kind of got to go backwards. Okay, so the first thing that I want to look at, okay, well, I start with parentheses if I have any, but I don't have any here. So now, first thing I notice is this number out front, okay? I want to move that. Where do I move it to? To the back, right? So this is 8 to the 3rd. Minus, same thing, I want to move that 5. So this is going to be log base 4 of what? 2 to the 5th. Cool.
Wait.
Yep, nope, you got it. Okay, so now can I simplify those operations, 8 to the 3rd and 2 to the 5th? Because I can use a calculator. Yeah, what is 8 to the 3rd? What is it? 512, good. And then what is 2 to the 5th? Is it 32? Okay, good. All right. What do you think I should do next?
Combine them.
Combine them, how?
You stack them on top of each other.
Stack them on top of each other, divide them, right? Because why do we divide? What do you see? What tells you that's going to be division? That subtraction sign. Yep. So this is going to be log base 4, and again, this only works if the bases are the same. So the bases are 4 of 512 divided by 32. Let's see if that will simplify. What is 512 over 32? 16. So log base 4 of 16 is going to be my answer. That's it. Can't do anything else. What?
I don't even know.
You don't even know? Okay. Next up, we've got this one. Okay. So, when we have parentheses, we always start by simplifying those first. Okay, so I want you to go ahead, just look inside those parentheses and simplify that for me. Okay, so I'll give you about a minute or so to do that. Okay, so we'll start with those parentheses, okay? So that first term is log base 3 of a to the 4th. How could you rewrite that? So starting with those parentheses. If we're condensing, what could we condense?
The -2 times log 3b could turn into log 3a. So that all would turn into log 3a 4b -2.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is just condense that second part. Okay, so log base 3 of b squared, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I have now. And now how could I condense those?
Log 3.
It's subtraction, which means to do Division, right? So I would just do log base 3 of a to the 4th divided by b to the 2nd. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the new second term, but I still have this first term out here. Log base 3 of a to the 7th, and I still have a plus sign right there. Okay. Now what? What's going to come next?
Change the multiplication.
Need to change it to multiplication, right? So what would I do? Log base what? 3 of a to the 7th times. Yep. So we're multiplying that whole thing. That'll simplify, won't it?
1/2.
Log base 3 of, so this is just a fraction. You're just multiplying, multiply the top, multiply the bottom. A to the 7th times a to the 4th would just be a to the 11th. We add the exponents, good, over b squared, and that's it.
Way harder expand.
Yeah, it's too much.
You don't like it too much? I'm sorry. It doesn't like you either.
I don't blame it.
I'm kidding. JK, it loves you. You can do it, all right? It's not bad. It looks scarier than it is. It's just going to take some practice. This is definitely a unit that you have to do your homework, or you're not going to get it, okay? Number 3, so start with those parentheses, okay? Start with the parentheses and work your way through this. I'll give you a couple minutes. Work with the people around you. Okay, first things first, the parentheses. What's going to happen there? What do you see in there?
Could be.
You see subtraction, right? Which means to make it division. So what'd you write?
Log 6, 45 divided by 5.
Like that? Will that simplify?
Yes.
What is 45 divided by 5? 9, right? So this is the same thing as 1/2, because that's out front, log base 6 of 9, plus log base 6 of 12.
It'd be
Now what?
I think so.
Gotta do something with the 1/2, right? Because
Yeah.
we're condensing, we're not expanding.
So it'd be.
What is the 1/2 gonna be?
1/2.
9 to the 1/2? Yep, good. It's an exponent. You got it. Your calculator will do 9 to the 1/2 power, or you could just know that the 1/2 power is the same thing as a square root. What is the square root of 9? 3. So this is the same thing as log base 6 of 3 plus log base 6 of 12. There's one last thing I can do. Multiplication, right? Because we got to change that addition. So we got log base 6 of what?
Nothing. Wait, we're just kidding. 3
3
times.
times 12.
36. Good.
Oh, yeah.
3 times 12. That's it. Raise your hand if you overthought that one. All of you. Cool. All right. Good deal. Don't do that on the test or the quiz. Next one. 1/3 log base 4 of 8 plus 2 log base 4 of 5. Do we see any parentheses? Nope, so we don't got to worry about that. We can go ahead and just start condensing. So we start with the numbers in the front. Then we move to our signs. So I'll give you about a minute. Get this one done. We'll go over it. We'll be done for the day. So we'll start with those numbers in the front. What do we do with them? Those are powers, right? So the first piece here breaks down to what? Or condenses to what? 8 to the 1/3 power plus
Log 4 to the 5th to the 2nd.
5 to the 2nd. Good. Will 8 to the 1/3 simplify?
Yes.
Yep, it's the same thing as a cubed root, okay, but you can type in 8 caret 1 third power as well, and that'll still give you the same number, which is, what is 8 to the 1/3 power? 2. And what is 5 to the second? 25. And last but not least, multiply. Change that addition to multiplication. Log base 4 of 50. 2 times 25 is 50.
I was like 10 off.
You're 10 off.
I got log 440 to 2/3.
Yeah.
Because I combined it to the top number.